Hey podcast, just before we get you to this episode, I wanted to invite you to join us at pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and we want you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make the pageant industry safe, transparent, and fair, and we'd love your input on how to do that. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, whack in your email address, and let's get you to this episode. Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project with interview number 100, and I have a very special guest, Holly Pirrie, Director of Pageant Girl UK, Queen of Queens. Holly, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I feel very honoured to be on this, talking to you. So. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm grateful in a way for quarantine, because without quarantine, you'd probably be so busy we couldn't get you on. So this is a silver lining of this quarantine cloud. Holly, before we start with everything, I guess you were just telling me before we went live that obviously you've had news about Galaxy International. So, and I know there's going to be people, even though they probably haven't asked the questions yet, I know there's going to be a bunch of people who want to know. So can you just fill us in with sort of what's happened in the last 24 hours? Because I've been asleep, so I didn't know. I did see a few people putting up posts saying, oh, we get to be another year. And I was like, what is that post about? So can you just fill us in with what's happened, sort of your day, and what your thoughts are on the whole situation and what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, so we have basically had notification today from Maria, the international director of the Galaxy pageant, and that Galaxy this year is going to be postponed until 2021, just due to the ongoing pandemic with coronavirus, obviously with international travel and everything right now. And it's 100% the right decision, and I fully support Maria with that. I am just obviously aware of the disappointment that my queens will be feeling, and not just mine, but any others that have been crowned already. Yes. You've got Canada, Australia, some over in the US as well, and it is just a little bit of it's bittersweet, because it's going to happen, but it's hard when you really want to be able to move forward, and it's hard at the moment. So my priority right now is my queens, and if you are watching, this will get better, and you are still my queenies, and we're going to have an amazing year. Promise.
That's a hell of a news item to drop right before, I guess, our interview. I guess drama must... I mean, do you ever feel that drama follows you everywhere? I mean, it seems to me that your life must be one almost of continual stress and putting out... I like to say I'm a firefighter, putting out fires all the time. What's a typical day in the life of you like?
Well, we always laugh that in our office, no day is the same. Every single day is different, and we laugh about the different scenarios that we get faced with. But I am very, very, very much keep my personal life, my home life, separate from my work life. So while pageants are everyone's hobbies, and I adore them in the fact that they're my hobby, it's also my work. So for health reasons, because like you say, there's always a fire to put out, there's always an opinion on something, there's always something that's going on, like with anything. So I just have to draw a line, and I don't really go on. I have a different Facebook that I use outside of work. And I love the pageant girls, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's just nice just to say, I'm home now, done.
Yeah, I think
that isn't happening.
Well, I think it's very important to have a bit of degree of separation. I mean, because with what you do in pageantry in general, I mean, obviously we love the pageant family and they're super passionate about it. But sometimes the amount of drama, the amount of emotion involved, even when everything is going well, it seems to me it's a very heightened emotion. Like everyone leaves a pageant feeling absolutely exhausted, and they're just competing or they're just watching. How long does it take you to recover from, let's say, UK Galaxy, because that was the most recent one? How long does it take you to sort of recover from that? I'm looking at it like a kind of a ultra marathon or something.
Yeah, it is. To be honest, I've improved. So it used to take me like a full week, and I would go home, and on the first day, I would just lie in a dark room. I would pick up my McDonald's on the way home, and I would just lie there. And my husband would not understand at all because he
Yeah.
just thought I'd been at a party for a weekend. And I was like, no, it's work. It's quite stressful. But then now, I don't know if it's since having Liam and because like my whole level of just juggling so much is so constant that I can recover really fast. Like we finished UK Galaxy this year and I moved house that week. I was like a one-woman removal team.
That's insane.
Not available to hire.
That's insane. After UK Galaxy, you moved house.
Yes. I moved up the house on my own because my husband was still working. So we finished on Monday, and I just boxed up the house on the Tuesday, and we moved on the Friday.
When's the last time you had a holiday away from the whole pageant thing? Like, when's the last time you were able to switch off your phone for like a week?
Oh, phones are stressful, but I don't really give pageant girls my number, and that's not because I don't love them, but it's because it's only because I've learned over the years, but everyone else's work finishes at 5 o'clock, and then they think, oh, pageants, I'm going to plan my dresses now. I'm going to see what Holly thinks about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I don't stop, and I don't want to look rude and people think I've not replied. Obviously, during lockdown, it's completely different, and I have absolutely loved it because I've been more engaged with like yourself, all of Pageantland, and that's been amazing. But a holiday, I do well for holidays. I can't complain. I'm really good at turning off. It's something that I've learned over the years. My family were very bad at it with work growing up. They always would talk about work at night, and I actually learned from my husband's family they would just never talk about it. And I was like, I need to make sure that I apply this.
It's so difficult. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. My husband's just got home and he's locked out. Please don't hate me. Can I just open the door?
Of course, go for it. Absolutely. No, so keep him locked out the whole time to teach him a lesson. Go for it, Holly.
I even texted saying, don't interrupt me. Right, okay.
Go for it. We'll still be able to hear you, bear in mind.
Yeah, so I won't shout at him. Okay.
So guys, this is I know I can see a bunch of you whilst Holly does it. There's a bunch of questions. I may have to get you to rewrite them just because obviously this is my first time interviewing Holly, and by the time I get around to your questions, they probably have scrolled all the way to the top and I can't get to them, to be honest. So when I want you to put the questions in, I'll just put another prompt. If you already put them in, I'll do my best to scroll up and see them. But they scroll all the way to the top, and it's really, really difficult. Okay, is your husband okay?
Yeah, he's fine. Sorry.
Okay, it's all happening today. This is a day in the life of Holly Pirrie. I really applaud the fact that you can turn off. I mean, doing what I do, because I do so many interviews in the UK. I mean, I'm up, as I told you, like at 4 a.m. So for me, and then being based primarily on social media, it's very difficult sometimes to turn off, and you almost forget that there's a real world outside of social media and outside of pageantry, especially during quarantine. I do know also that there's a lot of people who are struggling, including your queens and your contestants, just with the whole mental health and being stuck inside and feeling like, your new title holders, for example, feeling a bit frustrated they can't do any appearances. So do you have any sort of messages for them to tell them just to hang in there?
Oh, definitely. I'm in awe of how much they've all been doing already, like with all the online campaigns, everything. And I do think it's been really good, and it's shown how strong the community is, the way everyone has been together and supporting each other. It's just one of those where none of us were prepared and could ever even believe that this would be the situation that we're faced with. I keep getting really emotional just thinking back of like memories that I have from traveling or, Galaxy in previous years. And I just hope that like my reigning queens and finalists, because I know it's rubbish for anyone who's due to compete, that we will make it right. Obviously, we don't know how things are going to pan out, but as an organizer, my priority is always the girls and making sure that we make it to be the very best of whatever situation that we're faced with. But then I do say this, the pageant is the hobby, and right now There is so much going on out there that is bigger than that. And I'm not taking away from how important pageantry is to people, because I actually think it gives you like, not a lifeline, but a hope and something to look forward to. Yeah. And I think it's incredibly motivating, which is wonderful. But right now, I know people who are suffering in so many ways that are affected maybe by this, and I just hope that can pass and we can all be stronger, when we do get out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just reflecting. I'm just thinking in my head of the kind of year you must have had. It probably has been the strangest year ever for yourself. I mean, obviously, there was grand, there was global, and there was obviously more than a few issues with that, especially for yourself as a director. We won't go into that unless you want to. And then 2020 with Corona happening. I mean, the last year or so, have you ever had a year quite like this?
Well, definitely not on this scale. But I think there's always different dramas and stresses that can get thrown at you. And I've come to this thing where, like, my grandma always said, like, there's one thing that won't make it easier to solve the problem, and that is worrying about it, because that will actually just make you less capable of dealing with it, and you won't be in the right mindset. So, like, right now, no one knows what the situation is going to be with this, but if we can just take it like day by day and appreciate the things that we do have rather than things that we don't, then that will be okay, hopefully.
Well, we're all going to be here one way or another, so I guess it's a fair point. It's up to us as to how we make it through, because we will be here at the end, most of us anyway, hopefully, fingers crossed. Holly, let's give you an easy question to begin with. 20 minutes, I haven't really asked you a question yet.
You've eased me in. I mean, we've talked about pandemics, pageants being cancelled, pageants being held in civil war zones. I mean, we're really going.
So honestly, I look at some things that happen and I just wonder what people are thinking sometimes. Honestly, I don't think they are thinking. But let's leave that for a second. Let me ask the simple question: how did you get involved in pageantry to begin with, and how did that lead you to the point where you are today?
So many people know this, I just was always brought up watching Miss World with my mum. I loved it. We used to sit and guess who would win, and my dad as well, to be fair, but it was more of a girly thing between us. And then one day when I think I was about 17, 18, I heard about a local pageant, which just wasn't a thing over here, especially in the north. And it just seemed natural to enter it because I was so intrigued. Absolutely not because I ever thought I was going to win, and I loved it. I was completely hooked, and I wanted to compete in as many competitions as possible because, and for me, the win was always a bonus. And each time I'd maybe do a little bit better or something like that. And sometimes you won't get anywhere, and that's fine. And then all of a sudden, I was too old. I'd competed. There were so few, honestly, because in the olden days it was 24 and that was it.
Oh wow!
So, and it was 24, and there was no other pageants that I could enter. That was it. There was no Ms. There was no Mrs. That was it. So I just thought, well, how can I still be involved? I'd organised some charity ones and been quite good at organising those and raised quite a lot of money. So then the next minute, here we are.
That's a whirlwind. So what time frame are we talking about from the very first time? So when you're 17 and 18 to now, but that's been 10 years, 20 years?
So yes. So my first competition was 2004. So
16 years. 15
years. Yeah. And I found Galaxy online, and I started organising that in 2007, I believe we first made contact, maybe 2008. And I was literally at university, and I remember I would sit on my university bed and just do it all, emailing people, and just got really excited for it, and never ever dreamt this could be, a living that I've made for myself. It's just
does it
crazy.
Feel like 15, 16 years? Does it feel longer? Does it feel shorter?
Oh, so much shorter. So much. It doesn't feel that long at all. I mean, yeah, it's just insane. I was trying to work out when I got my driving license actually the other day, because I was doing my car insurance, and that's the exact same time frame. I was like, I've not been driving that long. I'm not that old, but clearly I am.
Yeah, that I get the same when I go to get my license renewed, and you kind of get hit with some realizations.
Yeah.
Holly, let me ask you sort of two sort of general questions, because I'm sure, and guys in the comments, I will get to your questions after this. There's so many, I will get to them. But just in case, Holly, because I think this will be a thing that will keep coming up. Sort of what's your overall advice for anyone competing in pageants? Like in terms of, I mean, you've seen so many queens. So in terms of overall advice, and from what you've seen, the personal qualities that your favorite queens have, what's your overall advice for competing in a pageant and for doing well?
So my overall advice would be for the girl to look at themselves and know that their journey will be different to everyone else's. It may be their first competition, or someone might be competing for the 15th time, whether in the same system or different competitions. But that doesn't make anyone less or more capable of winning. That you're all on that, like you're all sort of there to be judged on an equal thread. And as long as you know that you're being yourself, rather than looking at the winner and being like, right, well, she's like that, I need to be like this, I need to be like that. As long as you can know that you've done what you wanted. So, because you're probably not going to win. I think that's what's really important to remember. My mum always shouts at me for saying it, but it's true. Like I did Miss England one year and there was 91 contestants. Like, I didn't think I was going to win. Like, I was proud to be there. I didn't win. Like, you know, I did well. I was really proud of how I'd done, and I felt like I'd won. Because I think when you kind of go in and think like, oh, this is mine, and when you start listening to people, I'm going off on so many tangents here, but people going, oh, this is yours, this is in the bag. Like, that's when it can really affect you. Like when people say you have to wear this dress, if you know that you're wearing the dress that you want to wear, if it don't work, it doesn't matter, because you were happy with what you did. And there's a lot of people in the pageant industry who have opinions and say, if you want to do Galaxy, this is what you need to do. Oh, you're doing this in Great Britain, well, you have to do this. Please don't listen to those people, because they've seen like through one pair of eyes. Like, even with like Galaxy Internationals, like if I look at all my winners, they're all so different. But if they all did coaching, they'd all say different ways to win, because they all prepared differently. So you have to remember that it's your journey, not someone else's.
Yeah. And if I just give you this one chance to tell everyone who's watching maybe what's your biggest gripe or what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to pageantry, whether it's people, I'm going to guess it's people not reading the contestants manual or whatever you call it, but if I just give you 2 minutes to rant on the things that annoy you the most, so that the contestants in the future don't do it, not that will happen, but go for it.
Oh my God. I always understand where certain comments come from and certain beliefs. You know, it's really hard, because you might hear like, oh, well, the pageant industry has gone, people are talking about this, or Holly, I've heard that you're not allowed to wear this type of dress. So I didn't wear that. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just ask me? Like, I'm not scary. Like, I'm so approachable. I have email addresses that you can contact. You don't have to call me. You know, all Facebook messages. Just ask, because I'll always be honest. And sometimes, like, there's things we hear in the office, we cry laughing. The best one I ever heard was, okay, so the best one was someone messaged me, and she was a former queen. I think it was a former Queen's mother, actually, and she said, I just want to check. We've heard that former queens can't wear gowns to the final. I was like, can't wear gowns or can't wear crowns? And she said, no, can't wear gowns, like as in a dress. I was like, imagine the whole venue being in black tie, but my former queens being in jeans and T-shirts. I was like, no. And I really strongly believe that came from like Chinese whispers. Like, it originally started as crowns, and then next minute, all my former queens are underdressed. Like, please wear gowns. We don't get a chance to dress up often.
Is that the strangest question you've ever been asked? You must have been
Well,
asked
no,
some.
I've been asked, well, I mean,
What are some of the strangest ones you've been asked in your time directing Pageant Girl UK?
well, when we organise, we organise all our competitions are UK, and
Yeah.
as everyone knows, and if someone wants to compete in Miss Galaxy UK, they can then submit what title they would prefer to represent, and they can put a few choices,
Hmm.
and like quite often we might get like a completely foreign country that is not in the UK, and we're like, oh no, it's like UK. It says like town, city, or county in the UK. This is in Africa. Like, please put the UK. There's too many. You know what? We should do this with the girls from the office because they'd be able to tell like my brain.
I feel
Wow.
sorry for them in a way. I mean, do you just want to? I normally save this for towards the end, but let's do it now. In terms of shout outs, who are all the people? I feel sorry for you doing this, but who are all the people that you owe thanks to for getting you to this point here?
It's really important. Like, there's no I in team. Without a doubt, the girls who I sit next to every day in the office when we're not on lockdown. Karina, I mean, she's been with me now for, I think it's 8 years this year.
Wow.
Hannah is over 5 years. And then I also have Katie, who runs the dress studio, but also does pageant stuff as well, along with Iska and Ellie and Sophie. They're like kind of the dream team in the office. And I just can't wait to see them all again. But then it kind of goes without saying that, like, without the immediate support of like my mum, like she was the one who said, well, if you've got this idea, then just do it. And she always taught me, like, well, there's nothing stopping you. Like, we can make this into a business. We can do it. And I think that's so important. You know, my whole family, my best friends, Maria, obviously, for giving me the opportunity and trusting us in the first place in the UK, and then all the girls who compete and the queens who make it what it is, because without what they do, then none of it would happen. Charlotte, who was there from like day one, hosting it for me. I'm sorry to anyone whose name I've not said. Please don't hate me.
So I'm not going to envy you doing this because if you do try and name individual people, you will always forget someone. So I've often told people just say thanks to everyone, you know who you are, because that blanket covers everybody, and you don't risk offending anyone.
Could have told me that to begin with, but I just went in and named everyone. So.
No, it's always fun to see people struggling along. It's good to see that you don't have all the answers to every question sorted out. Holly, just before I go to the viewer questions, so guys, once again, I apologize I haven't gotten to the question. I'm sorry, not sorry, because obviously I wanted to chat to Holly. I suggest that you put your questions in again, and Holly, I can't tell you how many messages of support there are. I normally tell ordinary interviews and people who aren't yourself that I won't read them out because I'll be here the whole day, but it's insane how many. I've just been watching the support just going, so I'll let you go back through that later. But I just do want to ask also, now that you've been directing for 15, 16, almost 20 years, what is the biggest sort of misconception, if you had any, about directing a pageant? Now that you've been doing this for a while, what is the biggest misconception you had about running a pageant?
I don't know if I don't think I had any real preconceptions, because maybe I started it when I was so young. I just kind of thought, I'll do this, and I think I had the benefit of youth and literally just having no fear. I was like, well, what could go wrong? I'll give it a whirl. But I think you know, I think what a lot of people do, what the biggest misconception can be for a lot of people who are involved in the industry, is to sort of look at the sponsorship fees, multiply it by the number of girls, and think that that's all going into my pocket. And well, just to begin with, I have like 3 full-time members of staff who work on the pageants. So let's just split that one straight away. And then it all starts to, I mean, really, when I make a living, I can, you know, I eat, but pageantry is very much, definitely in lockdown as well. Wow. But it's not something that is making me millions. Like, trust me, I'm just lucky that when I go to work, it doesn't feel like work. Because even though I feel like I've been like, oh my God, some of the things that pageant girls say or something like that, that I also love that because I love the engagement with people. And for me, I never ever thought that it could become the community and system that we've got, systems that we've got. Like when I see how young girls are messaging me as well, and parents, because they've been involved from a young age, who might have whatever issues that they're going on with, but that it gives them a positive focus. Like, after some of those events, when I get those messages and emails, I do just sit and have a little bit of a cry, because I never imagined it could be like that.
Yeah. So just to clarify, you don't go home after a pageant, sit in a bathtub full of cash and roll around in your money?
Oh, no, I do that. No, I don't. I do not do that. No, sadly not. But yeah, I mean, all pageants are on hold at the moment, aren't they? So it's looking really bad for my bath time with all the cash. So.
I think Maria answered the exact same way. She said everyone kind of thinks that she must be sitting at home, rolling around in money, and she's like, no, I'm really not. And I know she's watching as well. Okay. So we will now spend probably another 5 hours answering all these questions. So here we go. I am going to go all the way to the top. So if you've asked a question that Holly has kind of already answered, for example, Lauren Whitelaw's asked what was the first pageant you ever did, and we've answered that. I won't read it out just for time's sake. But Lauren has asked, what inspired you to become the Galaxy director?
Well, thank you, Lauren. I had the best time being involved with pageantry. I was so fortunate enough to get to travel all around the world, from America, the Philippines, Germany. It just felt unbelievable, really. And I wanted to give other people that opportunity. I wanted to stay involved with the industry, and it just felt like the natural and right thing to give a whirl, really.
I will read out some of the messages as well. There's just so many, as I said, I won't read them all out. Alison Alduus has asked, what has been the best moment of your pageant career?
I don't have one, and I know that's a rubbish answer, but just when a pageant final starts and opening number comes on, like, there's just a part of me that kind of just goes a little bit cold, and I get goosebumps and I feel a little bit sick, with kind of pride and nerves, with all different emotions. I am a wreck at finals, for some reason, particularly at Miss Teen Great Britain. So if anyone who is watching has competed in Miss Teen Great Britain, normally the girls who are in the older division on the Tuesday experience it more than the younger ones, but all age groups have been. I just sit and cry. Like, I get really embarrassed. I sit with the finalists, I say good luck, and we've spent like the best couple of days together. And I know only one of them's going to win. I don't know who it's going to be, but I know only one of them's going to win. And I know that they're all so worthy in their own ways. And it just breaks me. Not breaks me, but it's just, I get very, very overwhelmed, and I'm sure there's people here who I've definitely cried with, and I have to turn the microphone off because Dion always makes me talk with the microphone. I'm like, I don't want to talk with the microphone because then I'm sobbing, and the technician is obviously thinking, is she okay?
Is she insane? What is she on?
What's wrong with her? I don't know. But yeah, that for me is that is the highlight. And also seeing the girls grow, you look at Kelsey, she was in our first Miss Teen Great Britain, and now she's the reigning longest ever Miss Galaxy. It's crazy.
It's insane when you must look back and then see how some of these queens have grown, and it's got to be feelings of pride, almost like a second mum to see how far they've come.
Yeah, it is. I get too emotionally involved, and that's why sometimes I have to step away and be like, leave it at 5 o'clock, Hall. It's time to go home. Go back to normal land for a bit.
The ongoing joke with all the interviews I've done, and I've said this, is that Miss Teen GB always has the most emotional queens. It's always the people who cry, as a general rule. I mean, Imogen Chapman comes straight to mind. She cries at everything. When I interviewed her last year, she was saying that an old man walked into her work, fell asleep, and she cried at that because she just thought it was so cute. So I think Miss Teen GB must have I think you need to find, and it's not a word of like exaggeration, a tissue sponsor, or some sort of like waterproof mascara sponsor for Miss Teen GB, because I think you really need it specifically for that one pageant.
Oh,
Oh god, there are so many questions here. I'm getting overwhelmed. All right, let's read out a few things. Dion John has said hi both. Jessica Barclay has said, bet it's been a tricky day for you. Holly Louise sending hugs. Sadie Pullman has said, Holly, you look radiant. Shaz Miller has said, you're doing amazing. Holly. Megan Goldberger said, oh Holly, you really are an angel. Ellie Mia Zisha has said, hi Hol, we will have the best time no matter when it is. Sarah Blissett has said, it will be a great year no matter what. Kaylee Atkinson has said, miss you guys, with lots of tears. Chloe Lake has said, hi guys. Ellie Corcoran has said, hey guys. Maria Torres has written in all caps, she's screaming at us, hey guys, in a very American way. Megan has said, pageant hangovers are hard. I told you, there's so many messages here. Belzy Malum said, hey. Chloe Lake has said, mum says you're superhuman, Holly. Let me see if I can find. Sarah Davies has said, we love you, Holly. Oh my god.
I love you guys.
Okay, so there's so many messages. Jessica Barclay has asked an interesting question. I don't know if you have time to think about this, but she's asked, what does this mean for UK Galaxy 2021? So in terms of International Galaxy 2020 being postponed to 2021, have you had time? Have you decided what to do with UK Galaxy 2021?
So I haven't fully decided yet. I have run a few ideas by Maria, and my priority right now is for the Queens, because I want them to have the year and experience that they deserve, despite the way things are going at the moment. They will be the Queen to go next summer. If they're still able to, like, you never know if one is going to like go on holiday or working abroad or something like that. But hopefully, my dream will be that it can be that team, because that's what they deserve. And at the moment, I have a few different options with regards to Galaxy in 2021. And I am going to just have to be a bit cryptic and say, watch this space, because I need to work out logistically how everything's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I'd be surprised in a way if you'd made a decision already, because I'd almost say that's a bit too quick of a decision for something that has so many nuances. You've got, obviously, if you don't run the pageant normally, then you're put out in terms of income, as we've discussed, but then you put out your current queens. So, and, a lot of them, all of them have worked so hard to get to that point. You obviously want to do the right thing by them. Okay. Here we go again, deep breath. Ellie Corcoran has said, I am absolutely honoured to be one of your queens. Thank you for everything you and your mum have taught me, two of my biggest inspirations, with a love heart. I'm getting better at signing these emojis. Well, if you need to cry, then you can just step away. Let's see if we can make, oh God, okay. That's Sarah Davies, your timing is impeccable. Okay, that song is not because of you, Holly. That's just because someone's donated for the pageant review site, and that was from Sarah Davies. Okay, I didn't play that just for you, although the timing was just spot on, Sarah. Nancy Hodgson has said, love you so much, Holly. Amy Willow Destiny Parker has asked, geez, what a name, that's a beautiful name. What made you want to enter your first ever pageant?
I was just so intrigued by it. I just love the whole idea. I'm a girly girl, and that's not to say that pageants aren't for people who are girly girls. But for me, it really, really appealed to me. I love the idea of dressing up. And the funny thing is that one of my good friends from school at the time actually said, I just can't imagine ever putting myself optionally into something where I'm being judged on how I look. And I was like, oh. It's not like that. But I didn't have the words to even explain it, so I was just like, okay. But yeah, I just wanted to enter because I just knew it would be something that would be fun. I knew it was something that I would identify with. I love being on stage, so drama was my one hobby that I adored throughout school and college and everything. I would have loved to have danced. I tried it, but I'm no good at it. I cannot sing. Like, I just can't. So this was kind of my avenue for being on stage without the talent, so to speak. Like, I'm not in a girl band. Yeah, but, just not one that, like, people wouldn't pay me to sing or dance. So...
How
Yeah.
bad? Anytime anyone, this is kind of what I've become famous for. I realize anytime anyone mentions anything that I could poke at, how bad is the singing?
It's so bad. So the other day I was singing for Liam, and Stuart, my husband, was like, "You have to sing gently to him. That's not nice for him." I was like, "Oh, even my little boy isn't gonna like my singing." It just doesn't work. I can't sing for you.
What were you singing for Liam? Were you busting out a rap or like thrash rock or punk rock? Or...
No, well, I have been trying to like play a little bit of like my R&B favorites for him, and my friend actually got him a 1, 2, 3 count with the Notorious B.I.G. book, but he doesn't really get it at the moment.
That's a thing? Notorious B.I.G. has a counting book? God.
It's something like count with Notorious B.I.G. and then it will have like Kanye West or the Kardashians, and it's to be honest, I wouldn't recommend. Like, if anyone's trying to teach their child how to count, it's probably not the best way, but it gives your parents a giggle. So,
Holly, have you seen the Amazon wish list that all the queens are banding around?
well, I've not seen it, but I saw that Chloe Lake was getting like 1 million gifts delivered. So I was like, so can you tell me about this, please? Because it sounds amazing. But what I did was I actually did my own little version of it after Chloe told me. And I just thought of like some of my friends who maybe needed a little pick me up. And so I sent everyone a little Amazon gift this week. So.
Well, Holly, if you want gifts, I can assure you, if you put a link to your Amazon wish list, you will be the one person who could potentially get more gifts than Chloe Lake. But the reason I bring it up was because Chloe had a lot of the queens are liking coloring books at the. God.
Yay!
Thank you, Amber. A lot of queens are loving the coloring books, and Chloe Lake had on her wish list this adult coloring book that I bought for her. I can't repeat the name because basically it's the F word repeated again and again and again. And again.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was F
Yay.
F F F F the adult coloring book or something, and I was just like, oh God, I think your queens have lost it. I don't know how many of them still have their marbles at the end of quarantine.
Oh, yeah, Chloe, you surprised me. I would have thought it would have been like a legal book on something, but an explicit colouring book. Like, there we go.
Yeah. We're none of us normal in pageant land. Rachel Lee Loftus has written, what is your biggest pageant tip for on stage?
Smile. Like when people just be happy, because we're on stage. It's not a high fashion catwalk, and keep it natural. There's sometimes like people like scrunch the nose and like and then do this like a laugh or something like that, but just relax. Like, don't overwork it. Just enjoy that moment. I know when I always used to be like, right, I'm going to walk here and then I'm going to do a little turn and then I'm going to walk there, and I never remembered any of it and just walked, smiled, I got off. So anyone who does a routine, I'm always like, well done on remembering it, because my head used to go to pot.
Maria Torres always said her one tip was not to use your train like a bullfighter.
Yes.
That's the one thing that
she hates that. She hates that.
She's she did not hold back on. I mean, you know what Maria is like. She even gave a demonstration. Dion John has asked, what gave you the idea for the pageant rainbow? It was such a beautiful idea that touched so many hearts.
Oh, that's nice. I got really emotional when everyone was sending in their photos and comments, because it was lovely. I just think it was maybe the first week of lockdown, and I really wanted to keep engaging with everyone, and rainbows were starting to pop up in all the windows in the village where I live. And I just kept saying, like, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. And just thought, how can we be inclusive of everyone? And I just asked for everyone to send me a photo, and it was amazing how many we got. I think it was over 100, which within 4 days was fab. It was really, really nice to see.
Elizabeth Frodsham has asked, best thing you have learned from pageants?
The best thing I've learned. So my granddad always said that a disappointment does you good. And I always thought, okay, granddad, thanks. But it's so true because you can't expect to have everything. And sometimes, like, you don't understand the reason at the time. But that's okay, because it just means that there will be something else waiting for you at a later date. And, you know, on that sort of similar thread, I think what I have heard, you know, people say in pageants is, oh, but I worked so hard. But it's so important to remember, so did someone else. The girl who won worked hard as well. Yeah. And your work is no more valid than anyone else's. And that's true in anything that you do. You know, it's fine to say, like, oh, well, I really deserve that job because I did this. Like, but they did something too. Exactly. So, you know, accept the disappointment, but build it. If you can't accept it, then move on and do something else. But if you still are passionate about something, then, you know, you can continue and you can fuel that ambition.
Absolutely. I've heard the expression discipline your disappointments, and I do think also that you learn more from a loss than you will ever learn from a win.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the wins when you can, but you learn a lot more, I think, from losing, because it makes you look inwards and go, what can I do better next time? Okay, more questions. We're like 1/3, if that, of the way through scrolling. This is a question from 24 minutes ago, just to give you an idea, Holly. That's how many questions there are here. Chloe Lake, as we call her, the big brain, has asked, are you looking forward to taking the crown for the best quarantine quiz team?
Yes, but I feel like I've let the team down in recent weeks. I was on a virtual hen do at the weekend, so had to let them down. But they still won. They don't even need me. But sometimes I come up with, like, just a really random answer, and I feel like, yes, I've contributed.
Well,
it feels seldom.
We had a game night where we put Team Psycho, so what they call themselves, Chloe, Joanna Johnson and Lauren Parkinson and Danielle Latimer, and we put them up against Team Teen Queen, which was Bethany Blissett, Ellie Corcoran, and I think it was, I forget, Lauren Scobie and Millie Jo over in Portugal. Yeah. And Chloe by herself outscored Team Teen Queen. She absolutely destroyed them. I don't think they've recovered yet. So any team that has Chloe on it doesn't need anyone else. So I feel like Chloe is like my kindred sister, and we talk about this. Like, sometimes she writes a message or an email, and I'm like, did I write that? Because we write in really similar ways. I'm not taking away from her quizzing skills, but, like, if anyone needs a quiz member, like, I am, like, you know, my husband and I are undefeated in our quiz that we're doing every week with amongst friends. So this reminds me of a question I was going to ask you. Just for the record, how competitive are you?
So competitive, like, really badly, really badly. So, I mean, like, it's not
good. Who, from your experience, this will be interesting. Who are some of the most competitive, or is there one queen who stood out to you as being, in a good way, the most competitive person ever?
There's definitely, well, you know, I find a lot of the girls who go, everyone has the competitive edge in them. Definitely, I'd probably say Lauren Parkinson in recent years, perhaps. Maybe Danielle Latimer, but I don't know her enough yet. We'll see when we get to finals. And then, without a doubt, I mean, Rachel Tate, Arabella Norman, Saffron. Yeah, definitely maybe the more obviously competitive girls come through Galaxy, but I'm not sure. You get such different girls in the system. It's fascinating. Obviously, there's a crossover, and I get that. But we talk about, like, there's the way people email us before a competition is always different for each competition that we organise. And we're sending near enough the same handbook, guys.
Yeah.
So it's really funny. It's fun.
Where do you rate yourself in terms of the competitiveness, all-time greats? With some of those what you mentioned, are you up there? Are you a rung below? Or?
Yeah, I'd be up there, but I think maybe I'm not as obviously competitive.
Okay.
Sometimes, but it's there. It's there. But I think that's good. Like, I'm really competitive with myself, and I think that's maybe why the business keeps moving and it doesn't stay stagnant, because I'm like, okay, but how can it be better? Like, what else can we be doing? Like, I did my survey the other day just because I want to know what else we can be doing to make things better. So yeah, competitive, but with myself, like Monica from Friends.
That's actually in terms of Michael Jordan. I think it was the basketballer. He had the same ethos as you. He said every time he walked on court, he was competitive with himself. He held himself to his own standards. He didn't ever judge himself by anyone else's standards. So I think that's a good way of using that competitive spirit. Ellie Corcoran has said, the amount of love I have for you, Miss Teen GB, and your incredible team is unreal. That was 25 minutes ago. 23 minutes ago.
God, guys. Yeah.
Kelsey Poulton, Holly with hearts. I am so lucky to have stumbled across Pageant Girl UK when I was just 13 years old. Your systems have shaped me into the woman I am today, and I am so grateful to you.
Oh, thanks, Kels. Thank you. I'm not going to try. I don't want to say too much because I'll be like crying mess, and this isn't going to be a fun interview for anyone. But this is the thing, like hearing everyone's names. I have loved that about lockdown, in that I have been able just to relax and engage more with people, because, you know, now my whole time during the day is with Liam in the midst of what else he just about managed to do. Because his thing at the moment is he goes, no phone. And I agree with that so much. So I don't want to be like, no, I'm on my phone. But then I'm like, I can't do anything. And so literally 7 o'clock comes, or when he goes to bed, and I'm like, quick, get the work done, reply to all the messages. So yeah.
That's so funny that he says no phone. That's
I know.
That's interesting.
It's brilliant. But I'm like, okay.
I was going to say, that's also one thing that a mum could never disagree with. Like, you're not going to say, no, I'm going to be on my phone. I'm not paying attention to you, my child. So
exactly. I'm like, I'm just trying to,
That's clever. That's very clever.
Out my life.
Yeah. Okay. 23 minutes ago, Chloe said, Mum says Debbie rules. I don't even remember what that was about. What? Oh, right. Okay. Lauren, no. Sarah Blissett has asked, what were you studying at university?
That's a good question. So originally I was studying Spanish, Portuguese and Latin American studies at the University of Nottingham. And then I just sort of was there for half a year, and all of a sudden went to a lecture, and I was like, I'm on the wrong course. It was sort of like a light bulb moment. And I left that weekend. I had my house, I had friends, had everything sorted for the following year, but I just knew in my heart something wasn't right. And I then reapplied and went to Manchester University and studied English. And if I had not done that, there is no way I would be doing this now, because otherwise pageants would have stopped for me, because I was going into my second year. I would have been going into second year university. I would have been doing a year in Spain and Portugal or somewhere. So it just would have been completely different. And it was a really big gamble. And I remember my dad being like, this just seems to have come from nowhere. And I was like, it's been kind of here. But I did it.
Yeah.
So,
Saffron Corcoran, Holly, you are utterly incredible. You gave me a chance at just 18 years old, and I will forever be in your debt for the opportunities that followed.
Oh, thanks, Saffron. Saffron entered Galaxy. It was her first time competing with us, but she had watched the pageant, and she was like, when I feel ready, I'm going to enter. And so she was one who I said was competitive before, because her level of preparation, like she just left no stone unturned, and she just walked in and was amazing. So yeah, hi Saffron. I mean, you're all amazing. Don't think I'm saying that no one's not amazing. I love you all.
I have to remain objective and be careful of what I say to an extent, but I don't envy your position. You probably have to qualify everything you say.
Well, I have to qualify that, because, Saf, I called you competitive earlier on, so I better explain where I was coming from. It was a positive, competitive comment.
I did say competitive in a good way, so I'm sure she took it the right way. Chiara, I think I'm going to go with Chiara Meechan, has said, "Hi, Holly.
Yeah.
What was your view on pageants before taking part in one, and did your view change?" Oop, oops, sorry, Holly, you
Is
there?
that me?
No,
Oh
that
no,
was me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
Oh,
me.
okay.
Okay, let's ask the question again. So Chiara asks, what was your view on pageants before taking part in one, and did your view change after competing?
So I only ever had a positive opinion on it because for me it just looked like it would be a great fun experience. So doing it only confirmed that, and then I realised that there was so much more to it. Aside from I felt that being in a pageant was very, very empowering. Some people may well disagree, but I certainly don't. And I thought it was so much fun, but also the friendships that I made and the memories are priceless.
Kat Simpson, thank you for being my first pageant friend, the friend who did all the embarrassing things with me. Okay, but for encouraging me to enter again. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gone for it and ended up as a winner with an X.
Yeah. Love you, Kat.
Megan Jubb, what made you decide to create the new Miss slash Miss Teen Pageant Girl system? I can't wait to compete.
Oh, hi, Megan. So it's been something that we've been considering for quite a long time, but because I've had my son, I never want to jump into something and it not be the right time, and then me do something not to the very best of our ability. So we always planned that it would be for this year. And just wanted to bring something new because quite often what I hear, and this is something I hate, so this can go back to our beginning of the conversation when we say, what do you hear that you hate? Is I'm not good enough for Galaxy. I'm not ready for Galaxy. Miss Teen Great Britain, that's too big for me. I'd literally say like 80% of all of our contestants are new. But I wanted to do Pageant Girl so that it would really have a focus on being like, no, like if you're feeling nervous and apprehensive about entering, this competition is really going to focus on that and be a good entry level one. Or if you've maybe not competed for a few years, because we have got the ruling about if you've won a national title or competed internationally, then you can't compete until a year after that's happened. So I just wanted to kind of create that little bit of diversity because, I mean, the competition, the standard of UK pageantry, I really believe is just increasing every year. I think that, within the next 5 years, when you look at the level of the girls that are coming through, it's just going to keep growing. It's really exciting, really exciting.
Yeah. This must have been when we were talking about crying. Chloe Lake has said she can confirm the tears at Miss Teen GB. Chloe Roberts has said Holly always cries, but we love her. Kelsey has said all thanks to you. I am so grateful. Megan has said not many people are as compassionate as you. You are one special woman. Imogen Chapman has sent love hearts and has confirmed that she does indeed cry at everything. Hello, Imi. Chloe Lake has said that you're less of a second mum and more of a glamorous big sister. Someone's sucking up to you. Come on, Chloe.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, but she's already won. She can, unless she's got plans I don't know about at the moment, like I'd like to think that her comments are genuine. Please, well.
Chloe Roberts has said Teen GB gets all the tears. Bethany Blissett has said, hey, Adrian and Holly. Callum Morgan has said, only here for the moment where Liam crashes in and causes chaos. Well, your husband has already done that, so we've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Imogen Chapman has written, I couldn't ever put into words how much Holly means to me. You've changed my life massively for the better with love hearts. So, Holly, so far we've gotten to the point where Sarah Davies back there donated and Careless Whisper played, so we're catching up slowly. Kat Simpson has said, excuse me, your cocktail mixing is a talent?
Yeah. So for Miss England, you have to do a talent. I'm pretty sure you have to do a talent. And the first year when Kat actually wasn't there, the first year of doing a talent, we did it live. So we did it on stage in front of quite a big audience. And I obviously can't sing, can't dance. So I was like, what am I going to do? I didn't really want to read a poem or something like that. So I had started training with an events company to be a flair bartender. So just for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's meant to be throwing the bottles and catching them. And I went through some like pretty big training with it. It was okay. I could get by at an event where it was a novelty. I couldn't compete. I would certainly not just stand in my house and grab the bottles and out of plastic bottles. So anyway, I did this on stage for the Miss England talent run, and I was so nervous. My hands were dripping with sweat that I just kept dropping the bottles left, right, and centre, and it was mortifying. I actually somehow managed to still do okay in the finals that year. I actually was probably the best I ever did. Maybe it was because I was so memorable, because they're like, oh, that's the girl that threw all the bottles at the audience. But then in the following years, you were allowed to submit it as a DVD entry, which is great news if you're throwing bottles, because I could always catch them. I did not win talent, but never mind.
I say I love flair bartending. That's also the one sometimes you set the things on fire, so you're lucky you didn't literally burn the entire house down. Megan has said, were you not singing with us on that Sunday night at Galaxy? Well, I think everyone was singing at Sunday night at Galaxy.
I think I was kind of smiling and waving through it, like trying to be part of the background and not ruin anyone.
Imogen has said, yeah, Chloe Lake has been colouring that one, so we're back to the colouring books, whilst I've been colouring a lovely inspirational one. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Nancy Hodgson has asked, what is your favourite TV show?
I probably was going to say Friends. Like, if I ever don't know what to watch, I would just put Friends on. So it's just feel good. I was addicted to Pretty Little Liars, though, when I first started watching that. I feel like I can't watch it again. So much to go through.
Chloe Lake has said, I have also been reading The Secret and growing my brain, not just colouring swear words. My mum is now telling me off. Go on, Chloe.
No, I bet Lynn's using that colouring book as well. I know what she's like.
Yeah, there you go, Chloe. She's also said, aside from her great quiz skills, I can't thank Holly enough for how my life has been shaped since I first entered her competitions. In the dark times, the pageant sparkle has always been there, and for that I'm so grateful, with lots and lots of hearts. Megan has asked, how did you come up with the Pageant Girl title?
Well, we just debated it in the office, and it just seemed natural that it would go with the brand name, and that it would be representing, everything that we stand for. So it seemed like the natural right decision that would be the one we went with.
Callum Morgan has asked, how many lists of jobs have you made during lockdown?
So many. So Callum is like my best friend growing up. Parents are best friends, and he is such an amazing support to me. He runs Morgan Branding, so if anyone needs any branding or logo or IT help in the UK, he's very, very helpful. But so many lists. And I keep finding lists as well. I'm like, a new list. He knows all about my lists. I have to email him about them. So.
Right. You have lists of lists by the sounds of it.
So many lists.
Okay, we're now down to 11 minutes ago. We're getting there, Holly. We're getting there. Maria Torres has said, love you, Holes. Amazing director and friend.
Love you.
Lauren Twitch Weekly has said, hi, Holly. Chloe Lake has said, if you weren't directing pageants, where do you think your life would have taken you?
That's a good question. It's something like, I never would have thought I would be doing this. And obviously, like, a big side of what I do is sell prom dresses with the dress studio as well. And that's definitely come hand in hand together. I love to write. I guess I would have been in an office of some form, but I am bossy. I do, I think I enjoy, would I like teaching? And I'm like, well, I want to be the head teacher. Like, I don't know how well I respond to authority, even though I do. So I adored school. I love school, but I was a good girl. Maybe that's a good question. I'm good being a housewife at the moment. Like, dinner's ready. I'm baking cakes. Like,
I feel everyone's
really
baking cakes at the moment just to stay sane. I'm going to be amazed if anyone leaves quarantine and they're not waddling out the door, because everyone is baking and eating and drinking.
I'm rolling. I tried to go for a little run yesterday, and I've managed to give myself shin splints. So that's the end of exercise.
Guys watching on the stream, I don't know if it's just me, but can you hear a crackling when Holly is speaking, or is that just me? If you guys can hear a crackling, I'll just try and help Holly fix the audio. But if it's just me, then I'll deal with it. So if someone can just let me know. It happened after we froze for a bit. It certainly hasn't been there the whole time. But guys watching the stream, if you can hear a crackling when Holly is speaking, just let me know. Izzy Cheminot has asked, is it likely for Miss Teen GB to be postponed? If so, when till? If you made any decision on that, Holly?
Won't be. Thank you for the question. I know it's a horrible time for broad trying to plan ahead. I have been in touch with the venue to look at other dates and to see what the availability is like. And the good news is that there are options, but at the moment, because we're so fortunate that May, June, July, it's like 4 or 5 months away at the minute. We'll just kind of see what the next couple of months brings. But I'm going to be keeping in touch with all the finalists, and we'll just go from there. But it might be that we have finals, but there will have to be changes. Whether it's with regards to audience, social distancing. But I like a new challenge. I'm coming up with ideas all the time. We'll work it out. We will.
Okay. Holly, the audience is just saying they can hear a crackling, so I'll put the audience on pause for a sec, and we'll just get your audio sorted out. So audience, just bear with us. We'll be back in a minute. All right, we're live again. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to try and fix up that audio for you because I know it can be super annoying. Holly's disconnected her AirPods, so hopefully this is a little bit better. Okay, this is 12 minutes ago. Joanna Johnson has said, can't thank you enough, Holly, for all the opportunities I've had since joining your systems back in 2014. I would not be where I am now if it wasn't for you and your team. You are one amazing superwoman, and we all love you lots. I'm sorry you've had to put up with me for so long, though.
I know. Oh, no, Joe. I've loved all the years, honestly. I mean it.
Chloe Lake has said she has no plans. I promise you'd be the first one to know. So, no pageant plans for Chloe as yet.
Good stuff. Chloe, keep you posted.
Lauren Parkinson has said she'd just like to clear things up. I'm not that competitive.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let Adrian decide on that one.
Yeah. Well, Lauren's Team Wales came second in our sort of Four Nations game off, and I don't think she was particularly happy about coming second because she was coming first in the first 2 rounds, and then England pipped them by just a little bit, and on the 3rd round, she wasn't very happy.
Oh no, Lauren, it was a fix. I'm sure.
Absolutely, and I was the one who fixed it, Lauren, so you can blame me. All right. Holly, final run. Let me see if I can get through all the remaining comments and questions, and then we'll run you through the final 10, and then if there are any more questions, we'll circle back to them at the end. Okay, I've never read out so much in an interview in my life. Claire Beebe has it, in my 10 years of pageants, you've been my choreographer, my director, in brackets numerous times, my evening gown guru, and I've been one of your judges, and all that's without winning one of your crowns. Does it ever occur to you how many lives you've inspired, changed, and molded? You really are an absolute queen. That's a good question. Does it ever hit home how many people you've inspired, influenced?
No, I don't think of it like that, and it becomes a bit overwhelming when you start to think of it, because I'm just literally doing my job, and I feel like that's where sometimes like the girls take away what they do. Like I admittedly, my competition gives them a platform, but you girls run with it and create like what you do, and that's why I like get so in awe of all of you. I appreciate what you say so much, though. Yeah, thanks.
I think this is a recurring theme during the messages. You can read them all later. There's a lot.
I think everyone should be nice, though, because they just want to win a pageant. Like, this is why I'm like, please, you don't need to be this nice.
I don't. That's not the case because there's a lot of people who already have the crown, so they've got the piece of hardware. They don't need to butter you up anymore. Dion John has said, yes, friend, such a feel-good program. Chloe Lake, my mum is howling. Ha ha. And then they talked. Okay, Bethany Blissett has written the world's longest message. All right, here we go. Deep breath. I have competed for 3 years now and I have loved every minute. I honestly don't know where I would be without pageants, especially when pageant friends pulled me out of dark times. Not to be biased, but it's literally the best hobby ever. I've changed from a shy girl who cried in her pageant interview to a girl that went on to win. Pageants have made me so much stronger. Thank you for the business advice and giving me new crazy ideas. Thank you for putting up with me and the rest of us, with a smiling, crying emoji. I can't wait to go to internationals with you and the rest of Team UK. We all love you, Hole. You are one superhuman.
Oh, thanks, Beth. Yeah, my mind's been in overdrive for you lately, hasn't it? With business things. But yeah, no, I just thank you. Like the dedication, that Beth put into competing was incredible. And it's just so nice to see those dreams come true. Obviously, on the other side of it, I was always the girl who knew how it felt to not win. So I'm always so happy for the winners. But I think that's why I'm so engaged with all of the finalists, because I understand every emotion.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really go through that, especially more so as I get older. When I was younger, I was like, it's okay, it's a pageant, like, you win, bye. But now I'm like, and I'm a mum now, so you just cry more anyway.
Holly, on business talk, do you collect testimonials? Because I feel that if you do,
yeah, I could be. Yeah, we do. So I'll be like copying and pasting tomorrow.
Hey, guys, if you have any more nice comments that you'd be happy for Holly to use as testimony, you've written so many, then send them in because there's so many here. This is business gold.
I am so overwhelmed, and I feel like everyone who's commenting, I feel bad that I'm not having like a personal thank you to each of you, but I know that we'll be here until like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just so grateful. I have amazing memories with each and every one of you, from not just in the UK but all around the world, and I am really, really grateful for everything and your support.
I think we may have answered this, but I can't remember. Izzy Shemino has asked, what is your most memorable moment in pageants? Did we answer that one?
I feel like I've kind of have done, but like I'm going to say from a competing perspective, a really memorable moment, which I know everyone always enjoys hearing, was the time I fell flat on my face wearing a bikini in front of all the judges, like flat like a starfish. I will never forget that.
Why did you fall over?
Do you know, it was actually the last pageant that I competed in as well, and I felt like every competition had been going really well. I was in Malta, I was with Charlotte Clemmy, she was Ireland or Northern Ireland, I was UK, and it was all going really well, and it got to swimwear out, and I could just feel my shoe just start to loosen. I just thought, no, just ignore it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And that was just the worst thing that I could have done. And it just kind of came off and I just fell flat. The judges were literally a metre away. And I remember lying down for a moment. And obviously when you fall, everyone goes, and I just remember kind of turning to the side and being like, hey, judges. And then I stood up and when I walked off stage, I realised I was covered, and I had to stand there whilst Miss Russia like walked down and didn't fall over. She was like a Vila on wheels, like, and I stood there, walked off stage. Charlotte was in hysterics, laughing, and obviously like thinking, was it really that bad? But I knew how bad it was, and I was covered in confetti because confetti had been on the stage and stuck to my body. So yeah, that was memorable. For all the wonderful reasons. So
you literally went out with a bang.
Yeah. Flat.
A very loud,
yeah,
painful and bang.
A goodbye pageant career. Flat.
Flat on the face, oh dear. All right, we're almost there. Yasmina Newbold has said, can't wait for the day we are all back together again. You are an angel, Holly. Caitlin Marie Toll has said, "You're amazing, Holly. I cannot wait to be a part of the family." And Lauren Scobie, "Holly, you have helped me grow as a person. I love every minute when I'm in pageant land. I cannot wait to be back. I'm so excited to be back with my pageant family."
Yay. I can't wait either.
Okay, well, we've made it to the end of the comments and the questions. Now that I've said that, people are probably going to put in a whole second wave. So before that happens, Holly, I finish my interviews always with the same 10 questions, so I'll run you through them. It's not a speed round. Everyone seems to think you have to do it as quickly as possible. Okay. You can take your time. Okay, so final 10 questions. Number 1, what is your favorite word?
Yes, but words. I love words because I like English. Empowering. Let's go with that. I really feel that the pageants and the girls that I meet empower me, and I think it's really nice to have a positive word. And empower just sounds nice as well, doesn't it? Like powered. I also really like the vacuum, because I think it's a funny word, like vacuum.
I haven't had that answered before. I have had some very weird answers to these questions. Vacuum is...
I've gone crazy, And also, my bedtime, it's 26 minutes past my bedtime. Like, Maria will vouch for this. Like, it gets to 10 o'clock and my brain just stops functioning.
Oh, this might be when the interview gets interesting then. Question 2.
Your questions on, guys. I'll stop reading.
Question 2. What is your least favourite word?
No. Definitely no, and can't. I'd like to. If the answer is no, then I will try and work out how we can make it so it's yes. And can't. I think we should always keep trying to make sure that it's not a can't.
Question 3. In life, what gets you excited or what turns you on?
Ambition and new ideas. I feel like I've always got something bubbling on the surface or bubbling away, and I just love having, to be able to make those lists, make planning, and then seeing things come together. Taking sort of family life aside of it, but like from a work perspective, that really gets me really, really excited. And, doing things like this and speaking with the girls and seeing how much they've achieved and what they've done through the systems, like that makes me just want to grow more and more and more and just continue being involved with everything that we do.
And what turns you off?
People who treat people differently because they think that someone is important. So I cannot stand... whether it's in the shop or in the pageant side of things, like, if I know a customer has spoken really badly to a member of staff and then they ask for the manager and I appear and they're all sweetness and light, like, I just think you should treat everyone equally, and it irritates me so much. I might see that, it could be perceived that sometimes people act differently to me than to my team, and I think that is the biggest flaw on a person's character, or a large flaw, maybe not the biggest flaw, because people can have really, really big flaws. But just to, I think that's a really nasty thing. I think you should always treat people equally, like regardless of what status you think they have. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
Liam's laugh. When he laughs, it melts me. So, yeah, that's an easy one.
And question 6, what sound or noise do you hate?
Liam's cry. No, what? Really, really, so it's kind of like a back chat, but like the pageant niggles and the he said, she said, there's a this, there's a that, and I really hate those niggles, and it does become like a sound for me, like a background noise. And I think it's really important for everyone to remember that being in a pageant is a little bit like being in school, in the fact like different friendship groups will be started and people will have different interests. People will really click with one character and not another. And that's okay. Like, that doesn't mean that anyone's done anything wrong. If people have competed in a pageant before, they are naturally going to go into another pageant and know someone, and then they're going to probably gel together quicker than with someone who doesn't know it, who's maybe newer. But that doesn't mean that people are being excluded. Those people need to remember to be inclusive. But that for me becomes like a background noise because, it might get talked about in the office. There might be the odd comment. And I think that's really important just to kind of remember. It's not really an actual sound, but it is in my mind.
Yeah, actually, I know exactly what you're talking about. So, yeah, I can absolutely agree with that. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
I think time travel. I think I would love to go back to some of my memories, not other people, not like too far, but some of the memories that I have, I feel like now are another world. When I was sort of like 17, I studied in Spain for the summer. When I was 18, I lived there and worked there. And that they were just some of like the memories that kind of shaped me growing up. And I have like such fond, nostalgic moments thinking back to some of those times, or carefree holidays when I wasn't worrying about a babysitter. So it would just, even school, like I say, I touched on it before, like there's a lot of bits of school that maybe I didn't like, but there was a huge amount that I just adored. So yeah, I'd love that.
Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Well, we've already covered head teacher, because I'll be bossing everyone around. But I think I'd like to be a milkman.
Is that even still a thing?
Yes, I have a milkman. And what's not to love? Like, I get up early anyway, and get to see people every day, morning, how's things going, serving the community. I'm not saying there's not stress for milkmen, because I don't want to open a can of worms, but they definitely have different stresses to what I deal with. So, yeah, I just think it'd be completely different.
It would definitely be completely different. I can't say I would have ever expected that answer. We haven't had milkmen here in Australia for 10, 20 years. So.
Do you definitely not have a milkman? Have you checked?
No, I haven't Google searched, to be honest, and said, are there still milkmen?
It's good for the local economies as well. Didn't you get the glass bottles? Maria saw them when she came over, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's the glass bottles!" I was like, "Yeah, my milkman."
I remember them back from way back when, and the glass bottles would turn up with the foil caps, and the problem was the birds, because we've got big birds here with sharp beaks that would peck through the foil cap to get to the milk.
Yeah, you got to be quick. But when you're on lockdown, I literally see the milkman arrive, and it's like the highlight of our day with going to get the milk with Liam. So.
All right, question 9. What occupation would you definitely not like to attempt?
I would not want to be Prime Minister. Like, a part of me at times think that'd be so much fun, but wow. I mean, no way. No.
Well, definitely not at the minute.
No, I'll just keep to pageants.
It's probably less politics in pageants than there's politics in politics. So I think that's a safe bet. Yeah, I know it's close, but probably. Final question, Holly. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I just would, like, here's all your friends, or, everyone who you've maybe not seen, for obvious reasons, people you've maybe lost. And it'd be like a next step. I don't know how my brain doesn't work well on spiritual afterlife things, but I just like to hope we can all have a big party. I like a party.
Sounds good to me. Okay. Well, Holly, I think the audience has run out of questions, and I kind of want to wrap this up before they deluge you with another 1,000 questions and you go even further past your bedtime. But look, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being interview number 100. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Wow, thank you so much. And just thank you for giving me this opportunity, but also to everyone who's watching. I feel like you always give me all this credit, but you need to just know that like this is a community, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. And I know that times are really uncertain right now, and even I can't give these definitive answers. Normally I have the answer to everything, but just thank you for continuing to support me. To all my queens, like without you, my systems wouldn't be what they are. But the finalists, everyone who works with me, I am so grateful to kind of just do a job that I love so much, and I'm not going anywhere. So you've got a long time ahead with me.
I think everyone's going to be happy to hear that, Holly. Okay, so Holly, I'll keep you on the line for just a second whilst I wrap up with the audience, but I'll echo Holly's sentiments and say thank you to everyone for watching today, back at interview 1 to interview 100, and there's still a lot of you tuned in, so thank you for all the questions, all the comments, and Holly, I would definitely recommend, probably after you've had a night's sleep, that you go through here and just see how many there are, because it's a mind-boggling amount, and I think that's a testament to obviously your character, because it's a lot of queens who already have, in theory, what they want, so they wouldn't be saying things to suck up, because there's no point. So I'll let you, this can probably serve as a reminder, if you ever have a down day, just read through the comments here and it'll perk you up very quickly, I can tell you that much.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll speak to you next time.
Yeah, bye.
What's up, guys? It's Adrian again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com, join our launch team for our review site. It's super important to all of us to make sure that the industry is safe, transparent, and fair. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, write in your email address, and we'll speak to you next time.